Valentine's Day is upon us, fellas. Make sure you're ready for wherever the night may take you. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming, are here to tell you that you need to use the best tools for the job so you can be ready for anything on that special day.
When your lady asks you what you need for Valentine's Day, you need to tell her The Perfect Package 3.0 by Manscaped.
So you tell your partner, if they get you the Perfect Package 3.0, you'll have your own perfect package to give back.
It's also waterproof.
Yeah, you can tag your bag while in the shower.
Let's be real, we've smelt the worst down there before. That's why I'm thankful for their Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. These products keep our boys from sweating, smelling, and sticking.
Now, you said that you smelt the worst down there before. What kind of angle did you have your body at to be able to get a full, bouquet smell of...
Pretty sure it's an obtuse angle.
So you can get 20% off and free shipping with code ARCADE at manscaped.com.
Your balls will thank you.
Hello, gamers, and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Mark.
And each and every other episode, we review a free-to-play game and let you know whether or not it's worth your time. On these other weeks, Mark and I, we play patty cake. We give each other positive affirmations, like so. Mark, I like the way you do business.
Thanks, Jeff. And your Hitchcock's podcast is one of my favorites.
Oh, that felt like a genuine compliment. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're on the next episode that comes out. So
nice.
When you hear this, wait, hold on. Let me pull it up. So if you're hearing this, it's Tuesday. Tomorrow, my newer podcast, Hitchcock Chronologically, comes out with new episodes, of which Mark is featured on tomorrow's episode.
Yay.
You did it, Mark. You've made it to the big time now.
I feel like it. It's crazy.
Great.
I want to thank all of the small people that I stepped on to get
wow.
here.
You condescend. Anyway, so speaking of stepping on the little guy, let's talk about Xbox.
Oh, well, I like that segue.
Yeah, look at that, huh?
Yeah, so...
I know how to be fair and balanced. So you know what?
Yeah, run us down what Microsoft tried to pull.
So, what was it? Yesterday, I think it was all within the same day.
Yes.
Microsoft announced a new price hike in their Xbox Live Gold membership. Your normal doesn't come with Game Pass. Like, they have Xbox Live Gold and they have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass all rolled into one. So they raised the price. They literally doubled the price of their annual package. Whereas you used to pay $60 to get a full year, they got it where $60 would get you 6 months. And people lost their minds. Now, I personally think they did this, as Lincoln in our Discord said, and I agree with, to kind of make Xbox Live Ultimate a little more, a better value than, so basically they devalued their other product to try to make their big product better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's the timing behind this was all wrong. It's, and that's my opinion. And I believe that's the opinions of a lot of other Xbox gamers out there, is because very shortly after Microsoft made this announcement that they were raising the the price of the Game Pass Ultimate, and essentially doubling the subscription price. They promptly backed down from that and even said, "Hey, we messed up, and because we messed up, we're gonna throw you guys a bone and make free-to-play games not require Xbox Live to play." What do you think about that?
Wow. So this morning, my good friend Jason texted me about this, and he said, "Man, I really feel like this is just a PR stunt." And my initial reaction is, "You're out of your mind," because it makes them look more bad than it does good. And then at the same time, I'm looking through Twitter, I'm scrolling through, and I'm seeing all the publicity. I'm seeing this market of, and I still, honestly, in all reality, I still think that it was not some sort of planned publicity stunt, some PR stunt. Because it's a bad stunt.
To back down from it, or
no, so my buddy Jason was saying that the whole thing, they had doubled the price, which is an insane price hike of anything to straight double the price. You know, Netflix has their like annual price hike. It's $1 or $2, right? This was a full 50%, not even 50, 100% price hike. You're paying twice as much if you go annual. And he was saying that they did it to get the backlash up so they could pull it back planned. You know, so if you look back at other types of backlashes like this, I think back to Xbox again with the DRM around the Xbox One and how long it took for them to backtrack that. That kind of gives me a little credence to his argument that this is all planned.
Yeah, but
so my answer to that would be, if it's planned, it's stupid. And if it wasn't planned, then okay, that what they've done here is fine. Now, you mentioned them making free-to-play games
actually free.
Available without. Well, and we'll talk about that, because I it's good that they've done that. Okay, don't get me wrong, but is there really a difference between paying to play a game online that you've already spent $60 on than paying to play a game you got for free online?
Yes, in principle.
I would need you to explain this principle, because to me, if you're using my platform with my servers and I didn't get any money from you and you're playing Warzone free on my network, then I'm taking a loss. Whereas if I'm saying you bought a game for $60, of course you can use my network to play it online. But what they're saying is you bought a game for $60 and you need to pay to play it online. Or if you just play the free games. Because what it does is it then pushes you to the free games, right?
Well, for me, it's if I'm like, so let's just take Sony, for example. Sony does not require a subscription service to play most of their online titles, multiplayer titles. So if I'm playing, just say Warzone, and I'm spending time on the PS4's platform, their online service, I may turn my attention and say, hey, I've had a good experience here. Let me see what else what else does Sony offer in their store to maximize my experience with their online platform. To me, that's different than when Microsoft says, hey, this is a free-to-play game, but you still have to pay to use our platform. That really kind of defeats the purpose. And what it does is it hurts these small developers that push these free-to-play games out. And because most of these free-to-play games are done by smaller developers.
Just not the successful ones.
No, right. And that's, that's I guess a conversation for a different pod, but to me, what Microsoft has been doing has hurt indie developers. And the fact that they've done it for so long with little to no ramification is kind of a slap in the face to all of these indie developers out there that have continuously pushed games and put them on Microsoft's platform, knowing that Microsoft's essentially taking advantage of both the gamer and the developer.
Well, they're not anymore, right? So this is just one of those. It's always been a weird thing to me. I've always found it to be kind of, to me, if I'm paying for a game already, why am I paying to play it online? Whereas if I get a game for free, paying to play it online seems like a fair trade-off to me. But anyway, regardless, it's gone now. Xbox was the last holdout. Both Nintendo and Sony have long since allowed you to play free-to-play games online, so that's a good thing. They've also reverted back to their old pricing scheme. So what does this mean now, right? Is this a hit to their overall brand, or is this a blip on the map?
That's a blip. Essentially, people won't remember this 5 months, 6 months from now. Essentially because Microsoft backtracked. Now, had they stuck to their guns and said, no, absolutely, it's going to cost you $120 to use our service for the year, you either take it or you leave it. I think that would have hurt them in the long run. However, and maybe your buddy Jason's right. Maybe this was just an experiment to see how the gaming community would react to it. And if that was the case, then congratulations, the experiment was a success because there was a ton of engagement and it was mainly negative. I don't think Microsoft is that daft to essentially shoot themselves in the foot in the name of making a couple extra dollars.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. It was just an interesting idea more than anything. I honestly don't think that's what they did. It just seems like there's no way. I think it does more harm than good. I think they've done more harm to themselves than good with this whole thing. That being said, like you said, it's minimal. They backtracked it extremely quickly.
Which in itself lends to the
right
to the idea that maybe it was just a PR thing.
Yeah, and that they did just kind of back away, and okay, there, it kind of does, because usually with this sort of thing, nobody ever just doubles their price, right? It just doesn't happen. They price themselves. If you double it, you put it where. So Nintendo charges $20 a year. Granted, their online is garbage. Yep. Okay, even when you pay that $20 a year, my son and I are playing Smash Brothers online, and it runs like trash. So people can say what they want about paying for online. Xbox, to me, is worth the money because it just flat out works. And I never run into a problem. I don't play PlayStation Online that much, so I can't really say how good it is. But I do know that Xbox plays really well. But then what my point was is that, PlayStation Plus is what, 50 a year, 60 a year, comparable.
Yeah. So
now you've doubled your price. And to me, I'm like, okay, I do think if it was on purpose, if the intention was to add value to Game Pass without actually changing anything about it. But it did, as an Xbox fan, and I've been vocal about being an Xbox fan, it does leave a bad taste in your mouth.
So let's shift a little bit to why they even entertained the idea in the first place, and that was to move established Xbox Live gamers to Game Pass Ultimate. Is Game Pass Ultimate worth $120 for the year?
So Game Pass Ultimate stayed the same, right? The price is what it was before, and yes, I think it is. I don't think, especially if you consider they added EA Play, you get great games. And if you're already an Xbox Online player, I really think it makes a lot of sense. Now, if you're coming from zero, you got to ask yourself, $15 a month, that's a Netflix subscription.
Well, let me ask you this. As it stands now, I personally don't believe that Game Pass is worth that tier of money right now. It's certainly
15?
Yeah, no,
$15 a month? Yeah.
Right. To me, that's now admittedly I'm not an Xbox gamer. I do have an Xbox. But essentially it's a dust collector. I don't ever really turn it on. But to me, the promise or the potential of Game Pass can one day be worth the $15 a month. But right now, and especially if Microsoft had stuck to their price increase, I don't see how that fits what the current offering is right now.
Well, I think I happily, especially for my son, pay the Game Pass price because there's great stuff there. There's always something to play. But it just, I don't understand why they did this. Regardless of whether you believe the conspiracy theory or not, it just seems short-sighted.
And that's typically not what Microsoft is. Microsoft hasn't.
And they've been short-sighted, but not under Phil Spencer.
Right. Since
Phil Spencer took over, they've been doing a much better job of their PR. They haven't had this sort of backlash, since he's been running things. And this is the first real big misstep, especially we're entering a new console generation.
Well, that's the thing is that the Series X launch was kind of based around Game Pass. And
absolutely. That's everything you saw on their reveals was Game Pass. And there's no doubt to me they want you in Game Pass.
Sure.
And I do believe that was the intention, was that people just say, well, at this point, I'll just upgrade to Game Pass. It's just handled wrong.
Well, and so my personal opinion on the original announcement that they were going to raise prices was, the timing was terrible. We're talking about you're in the middle of this pandemic. People are, out of work and scrounging for money. And you're announcing a, 100% increase on your subscription service. That to me was probably the biggest, it's like, whoa, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is that you still really can't find a Series X in stores. And so it just screamed like, holy crap, are y'all that, obtuse where you can't read between the lines and say that people, one, can't get your new console, and two, people can't afford your slated price increase. And that was the big, slap in the gamer's face to me is that they just really either A, didn't consider it, or B, considered it and said, well, the end result's worth the slap in the face to the people that make us our money.
Yeah.
But, they backed away from it, so it was like, okay.
Yeah, and now what? That's kind of like, what do we do?
Well,
I don't really have much more to say about it. It's just like, because they backtrack so fast, but I can't defend it. In any way can I say, oh, well, because I saw like on one of the tweets I saw, so they backtracked, and an Xbox homeboy was like, you see, Sony wouldn't listen to their fans, but I'm like, Sony didn't do this. Like, what's the last thing that Sony really did? Their resistance to crossplay was one thing, but it didn't make anybody irate like this. It wasn't just flat out dumb.
Well, when a collective group of people like Xbox gamers are so used to paying, a set price for something And all of a sudden, like out of the blue, because this was completely out of the blue, Microsoft announces this price increase. Now all of a sudden, gamers are like, "Yo, what do I do? What do I do? I love my Xbox, but what do I do?" The idea of paying that much money a year, and it's a year, and then people see the $120 price tag for the annual subscription, and they don't break it down to whatever it is monthly, and they don't really think about it in plain terms of, hey, can I afford a $3 increase a month? They just look at that. Oh my God, I was paying 60, now I'm paying 120. That's crazy. I'm not going to do that. And you brought up Netflix earlier, and Netflix every year it's $1.50, whatever it is. But people can swallow that is because Netflix is continuously putting out new stuff, and it's not a completely new service. And
well, I think also that if they doubled it though, people would flip. Like,
no, for sure.
After taxes, we're paying like $20 a month, right? Yeah. And if you have the 4K loadout, you're paying 20 plus. And if they come out next week and say it's going to be 40, you're probably going to disconnect.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing,
I don't care.
The thing about that is that Netflix has been around for such a long time that they've established such a base of loyal subscribers that their minuscule increases every year are pretty much swallowed because people want to continue to watch what their favorite series is and all that, and so they swallow that dollar increase every year, and before you know it, you're paying $20+ a month for Netflix, and you're like, what am I doing? But Game Pass, it doesn't have that goodwill yet, and to me, that makes this whole thing even more baffling. Is because Microsoft just kind of assumed that, hey, people love Game Pass, but they don't have it yet.
They didn't raise the price of Game Pass.
Yeah, but
they actually have an annual plan now, so technically it went down a bit.
But they were hoping to fold their existing base into Game Pass, which essentially is all these people paying for Game Pass, and I don't think they even considered, who their actual base is. So because we've kind of beat this horse right now, we before this came out, we were going to talk a little bit about Nintendo and what is Nintendo doing? Sony.
So the big rumors with Nintendo is that we're going to get a Switch Pro.
Right.
Now, we haven't got any details, so it'd all be speculation. But if it's the Switch itself has a 720p screen on it, and it can do up to 1080p. Is the Switch Pro going to be a 4K machine? I don't know. I don't care really. Nintendo. So I've been playing a lot of PC, and I texted my friend Jason. I said, I don't know when or if I'm going to upgrade to next gen console hardware because I've been enjoying the PC so much. But I would still get a Nintendo device, especially if they keep the portability factor in it. So I think that making a Switch 2 and not calling it Switch U would be real smart.
It's Nintendo, so there probably will be a U in it.
Yeah, I hope not. But they know better than to do that again.
I think Nintendo has finally figured it out, and they're the only gaming company out there making portable devices that also double up as a full-fledged console. I think their goal now has to be improvement on the Switch. It has to be. You have to include the processor in it, and you have to kind of refine the controls. Maybe you shrink the screen size down a little bit.
Ugh, no, they did that already.
Oh, with the light, Switch Lite.
The light.
Yeah.
So what would make more sense though, is if they made a Switch Lite you could dock. Because I like the form factor of the Switch Lite.
Yeah.
But I want to dock it, right? if I could get an all-in-one device like that I can dock, that would be good. But I'm not upgrading my Switch. They'd really have to blow me out of the water with whatever they do next. I mean, it's just.
And maybe their next move is a more robust online offering, or
No, they don't believe in that.
Yeah, but
they don't see the benefit. They've yet to. If you look at their current games and their big games, they just don't. Outside of like Splatoon, they don't really have anything that really is a robust online game.
Right.
Smash runs like crap. Mario Kart's pretty good, right? But it's not amazing online. And then Splatoon is fantastic online. It runs great, but it has to because it's primarily an online game. So I don't think they care about online. I think they want to continue to do what they're doing, and as long as they innovate like they've been, they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's just they've been very quiet for almost 2 years now. I mean, the Switch Lite was their last big move in their own market, and it really. I mean, I don't know the numbers behind how well the Switch Lite has done as opposed to the Switch. I mean, I do know that during this whole pandemic, the Nintendo Switch was very hard to come by.
Yep.
People were buying it up. So, it is I believe it's the top selling console right now. But, as more people migrate to this new console generation, I think Nintendo has to address something. They got to do something. Because they don't release, AAA titles enough to kind of dwarf what Sony or Microsoft are doing.
They don't seem to care either.
No, and whether their philosophy is that we're just really, we have these great first party titles, and that's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna. We don't care about this company or that company. We're just going to release our Zeldas and our Marios, and we're going to call it a day. I think what they need, me personally, I think what they need to do is they need to address new titles, and maybe come up with some new things. We haven't seen a Metroid game in a long time.
Well, they went back to the drawing board on that, so we'll see.
Well, I hope that. I hope that the next time we see a Nintendo with a huge announcement, it's for something that's actually going to make a difference in the gaming community. Like Breath of the Wild was their last, I think, in my opinion, mind blower of titles.
Odyssey was reviewed well, and a lot of people are like, "Greatest Mario," and I'm like, "It's fine. It's Mario. It didn't do much for me."
Yeah,
but yeah.
No, I mean, Mario's great, but, they I guess maybe, Odyssey kind of changed up their formula a little bit with Mario, but, Breath of the Wild was the last game that just completely flipped, a franchise on its head and completely went in a new direction, and it hit it out of the park. And, we haven't seen too much of that from Nintendo. And I think they need to do more of that. As long as they don't announce their online service is going up 100%.
I don't think they can't, because they can't raise their. Well, they could, because it's only $20. I mean,
right.
And really, what I think you're getting from that is the retro games is nice, but they don't have enough good online content, and the fact that you can play the free to play games online with no online pass devalues that, regardless of how you see it, makes it less appealing. But what do you think? You can hit us up at budgetarcade.com. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at budgetarcade. Don't forget, we're on TikTok, like real cool people. That's Budget Arcade Podcast on TikTok.
Hashtag for your page.
Okay. And don't forget that our music is provided by Stimage. You can find his music on metroidmetal.com. I think that's it. Right, Mark?
Yeah, for your page is a TikTok thing.
And we're game on.
Imagineville Podcast Network.